I was wondering if you could talk about some of the offensive line additions you guys have made in the transfer portal. Ruben Unige coming from Houston. You got Makaheli coming from UNLV. Carmody coming, and then the new Iowa State transfer. What was the process like of acquiring those guys in the portal, and how much do you think they can help your offensive line?
I think a big Ruben can come in and play early right away, same as Alani. It was I wanted to add depth. You know, it was a position that I wanted to add depth to. We already had some good players. I lost one in the portal, and then was able to pick up 4. Yeah. So I was pretty excited about that.
And Collins Young and Ollie Kao are kind of two names we saw in spring that we were excited to see on the football field. How are they progressing towards being ready for fall camp?
We wanted to take baby steps because I wanted to make sure that they make it to training camp, you know. But Ollie, I was pretty fired up. Him getting back out there, getting comfortable playing again, and you know, it was just hopefully he can just stay that way. You know, he's kind of had the injury bug since he's been here from Alabama, but you know, I'm looking forward to him getting out there and playing hard.
Have you seen Ethan Garber's pick up the offense with Eric Bieniemy? New offense coming in, new style. How have you seen him kind of acclimate to that?
Ethan's done a great job. You know, he's just the way that he, just from the bowl game, you know, came in unexpectedly, wasn't going to play, came in, won the MVP. Then we pick up a new offense. He picked that up, was teaching to the rest of the team and excelling and winning the position. So, you know, I'm just pretty excited for Ethan, just his growth as being a vocal leader and learning offense all in the same spring. He did a really good job.
Deshaun, how new does this team and program feel? Like the new conference, obviously you and your first year's head coach, new offensive coordinator, has that been something you thought about?
No, not really. I've been here for a long time, so it's not you know, I might be in a new role, but I've been around this program for a lot, you know, since 2012. So yeah. I'm pretty locked in that way. But it's not really that big of a deal because EB's called plays before. You know, he's a veteran offensive coordinator, so I think that's in our favor a little bit. But if he was a first year, then it could be a little bit tricky, most definitely.
Obviously, the move to the Big Ten was announced, I think, 2 years ago. But how much preparation, if any, has gone into the move?
I mean, it's not much, really. You know, that's coming now. You know, these next few classes, you can start really recruiting Midwest and East Coast. So we've done that. We've ramped that up a little bit.
I feel like that's one of the advantages for you, moving to this conference where you're nationwide, so you can start recruiting nationwide.
Most definitely, because it's kind of hard to sell to parents, let your son come to our school if they can't see him play. You know, and the fact that now that they can either drive to another school that's an away game or maybe come to us, but they can still see their kids play, and that's huge.
How do you balance that between, you know, wanting to stay true to yourself, wanting to recruit kids that, you know, are local and things like that, but also wanting to go into areas that maybe you haven't been for the last couple of years? How do you balance that?
It's more of just figuring it out. You have to take care of home first, and then, you know, recruit nationally and just cast a bigger net. But, you know, we still got to make sure that we keep the California kids in California.
Do you think you can have more success maybe in the Midwest or in the Northeast or in the Southeast with you know, a bigger conference and a bigger conference footprint?
Yeah, most definitely. Because if you guys have kids, I know it's tough for you if you want your son or daughter to leave and go to the East Coast. Go to the West Coast, and then you don't get to see them play unless you fly over there. But now, the fact that they can really see their kids play a few times a year, I don't see it being a problem.
Coach, you were hired in February, and you've really taken the program by the reins. Sorry?
What's your name?
Mike Regalado, Burner Force. With the start.
Come on, man! He still hasn't noticed that I was joking.
It's been a long day, Coach.
I know.
Is it really starting to hit you now that you're the head of the football program? With fall camp is about a week away, about a month to the season. Is it really starting to get to you?
I think so. I think once we get out for that first game is really when it's going to really kick in. But it's the closer we get to playing ball, the more it becomes surreal, you know. So I'm just excited for it.
Deshaun, what kind of coach is Ohio State getting in Chip Kelly?
Getting a good coach, you know, somebody that's well versed in football, you know, really knows a lot of ball, great play caller, gonna run the rock, you know. So I'm excited to see what coach is gonna do. You know, he's somebody, you know, when he has a lot of talent, things go really well fast. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
For you
Deshaun,
personally, just what kind of impact has he made on you to help you get to where you are now?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Coach Gillett. You know, just I believe my success of running the rock came from him too. So it's not just me. You know, he was calling run plays and helping me coach up the backs. And you know, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been in this position.
Deshaun, how did you feel going up on stage for your first time as a head coach on the big stage?
I'm more of a ask me questions and I'll answer. You know.
Yeah.
So I want to get to that part.
I know, and I was getting into that. I'm sure you've heard about it going all over Twitter and going. It seemed like he short-circuited out there. I know you're a soft-spoken guy. I've spoken to people who are close to you. So, what were you kind of feeling up there?
Just what I said. I wanted to get to the part of you guys asking me questions, and I mean, my local guys can tell you. It's just how many points we get out of that?
0.
Right? Has there been some really great speakers up there that haven't been able to coach?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
What qualities do you look for in the running back room when you are recruiting guys out the trail? Being a former player yourself and being a former running backs coach.
So the number one thing I'm looking for is what exceptional trait does he have? You know, so what does he do exceptionally? And does he get to his trait often? You know?
Deshaun, I know most of the players, and you kind of, I mean, you talked about it there, you're kind of a more lead by example, more of a soft-spoken guy, but what has been something that you've kind of made a point of emphasis when you stepped into this role with the team?
Well, I think I'm only soft-spoken with y'all. I don't think any of my players are going to tell me I'm soft-spoken to them. But it's just, I'm just not a rah-rah guy, you know?
That's exactly what Jay said.
Yeah, I'm just not a rah-rah guy. You don't get any points for being rah-rah. But I played football.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't start coaching at 20. You know, I played football in college at a high level. I got drafted, played football in the NFL for a few years at a high level, and then I decided to coach. You know, so my path is way different than a lot of these other people that are coaching and up here and doing all that stuff. But I just don't. Just like when I'm recruiting, it's not a pitch. You get what I'm saying? I'm not a car salesman. So
I was gonna say, do you feel like there's like a level of respect that you have from the players because they know that you've been through all the same things they've been through?
yeah, you know, I think there's a real aspect of like he's lived out my dream. You know, my goal that I have, he's done it. So there's got to be something in there that he knows. And then, you know, I didn't even know until I started producing running backs and they're going to the NFL that, okay, what I am giving them is the right stuff. So.
When you talk about national,
is the talk about travel. I mean, you did it as a player in the NFL where you would have to go, use the example of Carolina playing with
San Fran.
I was going to say, I couldn't figure out where the Rams were when you were playing, but they might have been in St. Louis. But with your players, I mean, is it different with college, knowing how much you're going to have to travel on a week-to-week basis in this big conference?
It's the biggest part is the stadiums. It's not the travel aspect, you know. So it's going to Beaver. It's Beaver Stadium? It's going to Beaver Stadium. 100,000. You know, it's not the flight to the game. It's going to be more of the stadium when they get inside it, seeing it, the wow factor. So it's just more of, you know, getting that out of the way before we play the game, and then we should be okay.
you were talking about national recruiting earlier. How much does an event like this help with that? How do you kind of balance the not wanting to be a car salesman, but still trying to sell your program to recruits out there?
Just letting them know, like, come see it, come to the campus, come feel the energy that you can feel at practice, you know, stuff like that. So this is a huge recruiting tool just for the Midwest and just the other schools that haven't seen us or other recruits and stuff in these areas. But, you know, just trying to show them what UCA has to offer, and then once you get them on campus, that should really close the deal.
What was it like specifically against Oregon? Not just West Coast players, but in particular this cycle with the news that they are joining the conference and their ability to use that in their recruitment.
I mean, that's what they're doing, you know. So it's not, that news didn't change anything for us. I'm still going to recruit kids and, you know, try to develop a relationship and try to make it non-transactional, just transactional.
What about little bit of ambiguity regarding Brian Addison that a lot of people are obviously very thrilled that he's still got a chance to play. There's on the Oregon side of things, for those of us who cover the program, is a little unclear as to how he got that extra year because he had already redshirted. Obviously, only playing 4 games. Can you expound as to how he got the waiver to get that year? I understand his family.
Yeah, I think that's
situation.
more of a compliance question than me.
Coach, you lose quality guys on defense, which it's hard to replace a person like Latu, but you've alluded to the fact that you're going to keep the defense the same. How much similar do you think it's going to be from last season? And also, who are the defensive players that are standing out to you right now?
Busey had a really good spring. It's going to be more of a collective than just one guy coming out and replacing Latu. It's going to be the whole defense, because we're missing a lot of guys that had a great season for us. Darius Musa, that's probably one of the biggest guys. It's going to be hard to replace. He kind of knew what was going on before the play even happened. So looking forward to Finnegan in there playing inside linebacker. Busey on the edge. Got a couple of other transfers that potentially could come in. And I'm just ready to see what these guys can do in training camp. We took the right steps in spring ball. But, this training camp is really going to see who's working and some has really come forth and separated.
Coach, I want to ask you about a game on your